Welcome back everybody to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie and today we will be talking about Jade Citrus Mint and the Conklin Duragraph. So this tea is called Jade Citrus Mint. The kind I have specifically is actually from a tin that I bought actually from Starbucks, but you can buy it from Teavana as well. If I open that up, it's a green tea and it is another loose leaf tea. So you're going to get kind of little pieces like that. This tea is one of my favorites to drink when I'm feeling a little bit ill, or just kind of under the weather or tired or anything like that, because it has a very lemongrass, lemon verbena, and spearmint flavor to it. Oh. It's just so good. If you don't like spearmint though, or really any kind of minty teas, this will not be for you. Stay away from it because that mint really comes across, which I think is why I like to drink it when I'm feeling ill. It also has very low caffeine. So if you're very susceptible to that, this will be a good one for you. It is a green tea, so you do have to brew it a little bit differently at a much lower temperature than a full boil. So about 175 degrees Fahrenheit, and then let it steep for about 2 to 3 minutes. You can let it steep a little bit longer than that if you really, really want a strong flavor, but I wouldn't recommend putting the water up much higher than that, only because it is green tea, so it's a little bit more delicate, and it can burn, and when it does that, it becomes very bitter, so it won't taste very good. So you can buy this pre-made tin that has 43 grams or 1.5 ounces from Starbucks, or you can buy just your own size, like 50 grams is usually the main kind of amount that you can get straight from Teavana themselves, and that will be $7.98 per 50 grams. So it's kind of middle of the road pricing, and 50 grams will get you probably about 26 to 30 cups worth, depending on how much you put in. You can put in a little bit less and get it longer, you just steep it longer, or you can, put in a whole pile and you'd get less cups, but then you'd get a much stronger tea. So it really is going to vary depending on what you want. But that is the tea for today. I also forgot to mention that today I'm drinking it out of a mug that I got when I was in Inuvik. I'm not 100% positive on how to say that word, but it is one I got when I was way up north in the Northwest Territories. A friend of mine that I go traveling with all the time, we did kind of a Yukon, Northwest Territories, a little bit of BC and Alaska trip in the last summer, and so that is the one I'm drinking it out of today. And let's move on to the Conklin Duragraph. So the Conklin Duragraph has a bit more of a classic design with a flat finial that just says Conklin, and it also says established in 1898. The clip for me is unusable. It is so tight that you will not be able to get it over anything, and if you do, it will probably ruin your clothes. So don't count on the clip, but I could just have a random one, but it's very tight for me. Screw off top, where it reveals the plastic grip section and the nib. It takes about one full complete turn to get it on and off. And you also screw the barrel out to reveal a standard international threaded cartridge, which essentially just means that you can screw the cartridge in for a tighter fit. You can't convert this to an eyedropper, even though it is plastic on the inside, because you do have that metal attachment where the cartridge will actually go into. You can use a regular cartridge though, it doesn't have to just be threaded. So that's good news at least. The nib on this pen is a two-toned, and you can actually see here where it says Conklin, the gold finish is actually coming off of mine, so that makes me a little bit upset, but not really, because to be honest, I hate the nib. It is a terrible nib. The tines were so tight, scratchy, just absolutely terrible, but I've fixed it since then. I like the band. It says Conklin, and on the other side it says Duragraph with these kind of like etched in moon shape. So I really actually like the design of that. One thing though that I don't particularly like is that this pen is very susceptible to getting scratches and nicks on the material. I tried as best I could to show you. I have the cracked ice finish, but you can kind of see in some of the glare on the top that you get these tiny little scratches all over the pen. Mind you, I've had this for about a year, but to be honest, because of how terrible it was at writing, before I felt comfortable fixing the nib myself, I didn't really use it that much. It was extraordinarily scratchy. The tines were so tight that it was almost unusable. It would skip all the time. It was bad. But like I said, I fixed it. Size-wise, it's pretty average. I've got it up next to a few pens that you're probably familiar with. I've got an Edison Nouveau Premier, TWSBI 580 All, Pilot Metropolitan, Lamy All-Star, and the Pelikan M600. Both capped and uncapped, pretty similar sizing. Like I said, the Conklin Duragraph is more of a classic design. Like I was saying before, it was really, really bad for me. The nib was just terrible. I really can't say anything more than that. Had I known back when I got it that I was going to be doing reviews, I would have left it alone. But I have since smoothed it out, and I've also widened the tines so that it's much more of a wet writer. And now it's very smooth. Now it flows really well. But when I got it, the tines were misaligned, extraordinarily scratchy even once I realigned them. The tines were so tight that barely any ink would come out of. So I had to do a lot of work with this. Now, I've heard mixed results. I've heard some people say that they got theirs and it was phenomenal writer. So really, with this kind of a pen, I think you have to take a risk and pick it up if you really want it, because the designs are nice. I really actually like the classic look. But just know that when you buy it, you may have to invest in either switching out the nib to like a Goulet nib or anything like that. It is a number 6 and it is friction fit, so you can take it apart. Or know that you are going to be putting in a little bit of work to make the nib worth it. I have a fine nib here, and I actually get pretty decent like line variation out of it now. But like I said, I've worked it quite a bit in the last few months. But now I have absolutely no issues. It's very smooth. You know, I get great ink flow out of it. You're going to see a fast writing in a second, and there's no skips, nothing like that. One thing I will also mention is that I did leave the pen capped but unused for about 3 days. And I did have some startup issues. It did dry a little bit in the cap, but there is no inner seal in the cap, so that's probably why. But you just prime the feed up a little bit, and I really didn't have that many issues. One thing I will say, I'm using it here unposted, but you can post it, and it fits pretty well posted. But for me, it is far, far too back heavy when I do that, because it becomes very, very long when you post it, because you see that silver band around the end cap is where it will post onto, and that's as far down as it will go. So it becomes way too long. But other than that, I actually like the pen now. Thanks everybody so much for watching another video. If you really liked it, hit that subscribe button, that thumbs up button, and don't forget to leave as many comments as you want in the comment section below. I really try my best to answer every single comment, usually within about 24 hours. Sometimes because I get it sent to my phone, I'm a lot sooner than that, but I really do answer them. I really appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned, because as always, every Monday and Friday there will be a new video. So thanks guys. Cheers. Okay. Why does my camera make my face look so red? I probably shouldn't be chewing gum right now.